So Me Too apparently hits the National Football League. Did it all truly occur this quickly? Investigation from the team announced late last week, and then the league takes it over, and then Richardson at 8 p.m. last night decides to sell or announces his intention.
Well, Bob, obviously the investigative enterprise piece by Sports Illustrated's writers is what prompted the announcement on Friday that the team was holding its own investigation into misconduct by Jerry Richardson.
Right.
And then within 48 hours, we have the NFL taking over that investigation. And then the announcement by Jerry Richardson after the game last night, the team will be sold after the season. So it happened all very swiftly, but obviously SI just didn't report.
Right, but it's when the Panthers learned about it. At what point SI goes to them?
Yeah, but at some point, that's when they brought them the information. Clearly, they announced we're having their own in-house investigation. So I will say this. There have been concerns among the minority ownership of the Panthers. I'm not talking about a minority in terms of African American or color of skin.
Less than a majority, controlling interest, right.
Who have had some concerns, according to the sources I've spoken with. I don't know what the specific concerns were, but I know this much. The team is now for sale once the season ends.
And again, it's supposed to take months. The price will be somewhere in the $2 billion range, well over the $200 or so million that Jerry Richardson paid for it. And I think part of the reason that he announced it last night was to not be a distraction for this team and this league, which he both feels very strongly about going forward. Because if and when he sells this team, it's hard to imagine that the NFL's investigation is going to be complete. So at a time where they've disciplined other coaches and teams and players and owners even, Jim Irsay, what can they do to Jerry Richardson once he sold his interest? They could fine him. So what?
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
Well, there's going to be an investigation.
Yeah, and there should be.
We'll see if the SI.com piece, and these are great reporters, whether it's borne out by the facts.
And one thing about the NFL, there are a number of people, prospective owners, that they have a pool, they have a list, and some of them have been vetted. So there are owners who are kind of in line to at least try to purchase a team. So it'll be interesting to see how fast this process goes.
So where's the critical mass between Roger Goodell and the other power brokers in the league and among the power-centric owners who will then nudge that franchise and the preferred ownership group together?
Well, listen, Jerry Richardson gets to pick who he sells the team to. And again, it was in his will that he was going to be selling that team. The estate was going to be selling the team. He now gets to control that. He picks the person. He picks the terms. He gets to divest it how he chooses, and that's one of the advantages to doing that right now.
But they also have to pass muster with the league office in terms of the vetting, the financials, and all those type of things.
Because there's always, I won't say wink and a nod, but it becomes apparent. I mean, Donald Trump tried to buy the Bills. He didn't have any blessing from the league at all in that regard.
No, and there's been some question as to whether he had the finances in terms of what the requirements there for him to go forward with that.
You know who's expressed an interest to buy the team last night on Instagram? Let's roll it. The mogul of hip-hop and the entrepreneur. Here's Diddy.
Well, I need to send a message out to everybody in the beautiful state of North Carolina. I will be the best NFL owner that you can imagine. I will immediately address the Colin Kaepernick situation and put him in the running for next year's starting quarterback. It's just competition, baby. It's just competition.
After that hits, Cap says, hey, I want in on the ownership group. Let's make it happen. Look, Cordy, if you can believe Wikipedia is about anybody's worth, Diddy's worth about, what, $900 million. Right. See, that's a good start to put a group together. Is this going to put the Cap issue to the side? Is he a player here?
Well, it's like put your money where your mouth is. Go ahead and get vetted by the league, see what your real money is, and then, oh, yeah, okay, fine. Cam Newton is your quarterback. He's been a league MVP, and you're going to let Colin Kaepernick compete with him. That's your prerogative. But if he can, listen, he can approach the league and say, hey, listen, I want to get in this ownership pool, and they can start that vetting process for him. If he's serious, there is a process.
The way it was explained to me last night was if you don't have personal wealth that starts with a B, Bob. A B, don't bother.
None of us do, so I don't think we're in that pool.
Oh, Schefter is getting close.
Let's talk about the end of the Steelers-Pats, essentially the end of the game, and the whole question, what is a catch? And we're not going to rehash the rule and replay. And it's water cooler talk today, but you go high-tech there, and then you go low-tech with the folded index card that night. And yes, it's the kind of thing I think the league wants people talking about, but it's also what the devil is a catch. It was it's an animating topic today.
Well, here's the thing. I've had this conversation with members of the competition committee, and what it was explained to me is that, listen, if it isn't a catch at the 20-yard line or the 40-yard line or at the boundaries, it's not going to be a catch at the goal line until you've completed the catch. So, by the way, the ball can hit the ground, but you can't lose control.
Right.
It can't move there. And so, therefore, that's the simple explanation. And they've tweaked this thing several different times.
Bloody complicated?
It's hard to define exactly what is a catch.
No, actually, they believe now it's simple, so it was easy for them to overturn it.
Yeah, exactly.
That's how they believe right now.
Bob, you have to survive the ground. If you don't survive
We've all
the
had
ground,
nights like that.
Yeah, I know Mort hasn't survived the ground always.
That's not
Jesse
true.
James did not survive the ground yesterday. That's really the bottom line.
Even though, listen, I'm one of those believers that if it walks like a duck, talks like a duck, quacks like a duck, then it is a duck. But bottom line is, they believe they've simplified this to the best of their ability, and they've tweaked it a little bit so that the ball can. Now, I thought somebody brought some Lewis Riddick or Ryan Clark. If a ball can't cause a fumble with a runner, and he hasn't been touched, how can it cause a fumble because he wasn't touched in this instance?
It's how many angels can dance on the head of a football, I guess.